Yeah, gonna drive a Camaro with my mullet. Listen to an 8-track and other poorly executed 80s references. Yeah, wearing the helmet and this thing's gonna be a challenge. Oh, good. The seat doesn't scoot back. Thank God I'm not 6'7". 1985 Camaro True Iroc-Z. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Jake channel. Thank you for stopping by. We are back again with another car review. Once again, courtesy of Shocked Auto Source in Union, Missouri. Ball shifter, that's cool. And as you might have seen from these glorious glamour shots, we're driving a 1985 Chevy Camaro. See that? Iroc-Z, baby. We got the good one. Like that Teenage Dirtbag song from Wheatus, I'm the guy driving an Iroc. Yeah, you might have a Mach 1 Mustang, but I'm a dude in an 85 Camaro wearing a motorcycle helmet. So Brent was nice enough to lend us this car for another video review, so we're gonna drive it. This one has 100 and don't believe that's actually a 5-digit odometer. This one has 112,000 miles. First impressions are it's about as roomy as my F-body Firebird was. I had a WS6, a 2002, and it's kind of the same bullet. You're laying back in it, feels like a missile silo type shape. You're very deep in these cars. You're kind of like laid back deep down in it. That bullet style does not give you much upright headroom, as you might see, especially for me being 6'7". So it's a laid back shape. Now Brent and I were talking before we drove the car, and what's really interesting is if you go to the Motor Trend review of the Fox Body Mustang, when the Fox Bodies first came out in the 80s, they compared the Iroc-Z Camaro, this one, to the Fox Body Mustang GT, and what's really interesting about that is the Mustang GT beat this car in acceleration 0 to 60 and quarter mile, but when they took it to the track, this car beat the Mustang by, like, I think Brent said, 1.5 seconds. This car is just a better overall handling car. Oh, the Mustang guys are now triggered! But seriously, this car, it's a cool car, and like I grew up in the 90s, and so there was a lot of these Iroc-Z Camaros floating around, and they're getting harder and harder and harder to find, especially not all rotted out, rusted to just nothing. And so Brent found this one somehow in the Midwest, really clean, and like I said, it's got 112,000 miles on it. So, and it's an all original car. This car is so original, it has the original spare tire inflation kit. The spare tire inflation kit has never been used on this car, and that's shocking. It's a 1985. The guy that had it before Brent bought it had it for, I think, almost 20 years, and it just really sad. It didn't drive very much. So this is like one of the first outings for this car, this Iroc, in like, I don't know, 10 years? Okay, so coming up to our little roundabout here, let's do some roundabouting. Let's drive this car. So first impressions? Dude, this thing turns really well. Let's see how it accelerates. Oh man, all the way to that. Oh, the brakes are there. The brakes, okay, brakes work. Brakes are good. All the way to this, I don't know if you can see it on camera, the 5,000 RPM red line. In these Camaros, you had a couple options. They had 3 different variations of the 305 V8. They had a 155 horsepower version, they had a 190 horsepower version, and then they had a 215 horsepower version of the Chevy 305 V8, which is what this car has. Now, in this car, I want to say it's the 190 horse version, and over the years, as you might expect, the car has lost a horsepower or 2. 1 to 2 horsepower have definitely disappeared out of this car. But you know what? The cool thing about this car is it's a survivor. It's all original. It's got all the original parts, the original decals, the original wheels, which is a big deal in these cars because there's a lot of Iroc Camaros that have imitation knockoff Iroc Camaro wheels. It's a really common thing. And these are the original wheels on the car. Actually, the only thing that's not original on this car are literally the floor mats. The floor mats is the only thing that is not full original. All right, so we know it handles decently, turns well. Let's whack it. You know, for a car that you're not going to own for being fast, it moves as well as it needs to. This is a cool car. This is the car you put on some Motley Crue, you crank it, you go out, you grab your couple buddies or you take your date out, and you're in an 85 Camaro. I mean, come on, like this is so cool. There's nothing about this car that you can object to. If you get into this car, you know what you're expecting. You put on your Hulk Hogan t-shirt, you put on your fake mullet, you turn on some good 80s rock, and dude, you just cruise. This car doesn't need to be fast, and that's like heresy for me to say. This Iroc Camaro doesn't need to be fast. It's totally good. It's not that comfortable. It's actually decently comfortable for the shape that it is. It's not that comfortable. It handles really well for what it is. It doesn't accelerate very hard. It's not going to get good gas mileage. And that's perfect. It's such a cool car. I've never gotten to drive one of these before. I'm super stoked to be able to drive it. It even sounds good. Even this 305 V8 sounds really good. And just look at everything. Like, you know, the speedometer needle shakes a little bit. It revs to 5,000 RPM because it's an old 305 V8. I'm just about it. Like this ball shifter, like who does this? And all these, look at all these right angles. Like everything is so square in the car. You've got this huge gap here where the dash could be, but it's not. Even the radio works. All the speakers work in the car. It's all the original. It's just, this is not a car you're going to see very often anymore. Not in this condition. You're going to see them rusted out, torn up, turned into drag cars. It just it just sounds cool. It even has the original exhaust, original catalytic converters, original mufflers. Normally, when we review these cars with Brent of Shocked Auto Source in Union, Missouri, normally the way that it works is we take it on a specified loop, we drive it, we film it, and then we just take it back to the dealership. This is the first time I've ever actually driven a car and intentionally not taken it back to the dealership. I'm doing extra driving just because I don't want to get out of it. I like it. It's cool. All right, so final verdict on these Camaros. I'm not gonna lie, when the F-bodies were out, I wasn't too hot on them, but now that I've kind of grown up and I'm in my late 20s, I really think they're cool. These cars are getting to the point where they're like retro and like they're like the Fox bodies. They're actually starting to go up in value a bit. So if you're interested in this one, you can get a heck of a deal on it at Shocked Auto Source in Union, Missouri. I want to thank Brent again for letting us drive it. This car is super cool. I'm all about it. I'm digging the retro thing. And like I said, I wasn't super into these cars back when I was a kid. I was more so into the F-bodies, but I'm really starting to dig the body lines of this car. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to do cool stuff with these cars. That's all I have. I hope you enjoyed this review of a 1985 true Iroc Camaro, and we will see you on Sunday for the Sunday sit down. I love you all. Bye-bye.